I want to talk with you about a client that I just did a visit with. She came into my office. She's 36 years old and she's been struggling with a lot of chest anxiety. She felt like she couldn't get a good breath. She's having panic because she feels like she can't get enough oxygen. And then she starts to hyperventilate and she's getting dizzy. And the dizziness, of course, makes her feel worse. And she's really afraid that there's something actually wrong with her. And it's not just anxiety. And her doctors are like, you're anxious, it's just anxiety. They ran a basic blood panel called a CBC, and they did a vitamin D test and a thyroid test, and everything was normal. And so they sent her to me, and so she's sitting in my office, and I see that she's doing a lot of sighing. So she's anxious, she's sighing, and she's pointing to her chest. So let me tell you more. I don't know if you've ever felt this way. Like you're having all of these physical symptoms and you're starting to get worried and you're feeling anxious, and it's like your anxiety is taking control and it's making your world smaller because you don't want to trigger yourself. So you're trying to figure out all the situations where you get triggered and activated, and then you don't want to go into those situations because you don't want to get triggered. And so you find that your world is getting smaller and smaller. And then that negatively impacts your relationships. People don't get it. Like, I don't know about you, but it was really stressful for my loved ones when I was stressed out and anxious all the time. And it's not always logical. So it's hard to explain, like, hey, I feel like I'm not getting enough oxygen. I'm freaking out. I can't go out. And so then you start to feel alienated and you feel alone, right? So this is what happened with my client, and I've definitely been there, and I'm wondering if you have too. Do you at all resonate with this, where you're experiencing anxiety or you get panic attacks and your world is getting smaller and your relationships are getting strained, and then you go to the doctor and they're like, well, I think it's just stress and anxiety. And the main options the medical community gives us for stress and anxiety are prescription medications and maybe cognitive behavioral therapy if you're lucky. But the problem with that is that if you suppress the anxiety with a benzodiazepine or an antidepressant, then the anxiety that is being caused by something else isn't being treated. So it's going to keep popping up. It's just going to come up in different ways. And let me tell you about the next part. And so your doctor puts you on medications and you're dealing with feeling a little bit numbed out. It's the most common side effect of antidepressants or benzos, which are the number one and number two go-tos for anxiety. So you're feeling a little numbed out, you're getting some side effects, but now you're getting symptoms elsewhere. And the question is, are those side effects or are those just symptoms of the anxiety rerouting itself? If the cause of anxiety or the cause of autonomic arousal or the cause of stress isn't being targeted, it's going to get released. You're going to still have that cause there, so you're not actually getting better and getting healthier. And that is part of what my client was running into. So she went to a cognitive behavioral therapist, and the therapist is helping her work through why she shouldn't feel anxious, why it wasn't logical to feel anxious. And then she just started to feel a whole lot of shame and guilt. This is just one example of how the dominant medical model can send you astray. And I'm not opposed to CBT therapy. I love cognitive behavioral therapy when the problem is an error in cognition. And I'm all about medications when used properly. And for me, Lexapro was game-changing. It really made a huge and positive impact in my life. But what you want to do is put a comma or a semicolon at the end of that sentence and then allow that space that you get, if those things work for you, to then do deeper digging. And that's what my client was here to do, is she wanted to do deeper digging. And that's what I'm here to teach you about. Instead of having to spend tons of money on functional testing or going to specialists or running all of the labs, taking all of the supplements, there's another way. So this is when you need a trauma-informed and holistic approach. Is the paradigm of the dominant medical model is that anxiety is bad, let's make it go away. But a holistic trauma-informed model says anxiety is data, And if we can get to the root cause of what that data is telling us and treat that root cause, then you don't have anxiety anymore. And so here's what she did. She joined the Holistic Wellness Collective, and inside she went to the wellness roadmap and she started working her way through all of the different steps on the roadmap that teaches you how to think like a trauma-informed holistic expert to get to the bottom of why you feel anxious. And so she did this, and let me show her the most helpful exercise that she did in this whole thing. Okay, so she clicked on step 4 after doing step 1, 2, and 3. And then in step 4, there are all sorts of checklists. And so when she went through these checklists, it helped her zero in on what might be out of balance. Based on her quiz results, she ordered her own blood work and she included an iron test. And so you'll see here ferritin, and her ferritin is extremely low. And then you also see her vitamin D was high, but that's because she's supplementing. But the most important thing here that we found is that she has low ferritin. Okay, so now we have a test result and it's low ferritin. And with low ferritin, I've got you covered. If you go inside the Holistic Wellness Collective, I actually have a whole lesson on iron supplementation, how to know if your iron is low, how to interpret ferritin tests. Let me show you on the inside. Okay, so inside the Wellness Collective, if you're at the home page, you just take your cursor, you go to the right, and you click on Labs, Testing Lessons, and then you see we have all sorts of lab tests. Iron testing is here, and then I have videos and PowerPoints and tons of handouts. I created this membership to have all of that information there so that she could take power into her own hands and no longer feel out of control from her symptoms. She now knows exactly what to do. And the really cool thing is that she's not the first person that I've seen encounter this. Time and time again, if you have low iron or low ferritin in your blood, the job of ferritin is to grab a hold of oxygen. And if you aren't getting oxygen circulated through the rest of your body, you're gonna feel like you have low oxygen. You're gonna have a desire to breathe in more oxygen. And then that can create this whole panic and anxiety process. And so in many people that I've worked with, just simply finding the root cause can be life-changing. So just imagine if she'd have stopped her journey and just taken the medications and tried to talk herself out of anxiety, but all the while her iron is low, what would happen? Babe, and here's the best part, is you don't have to do this alone. You're gonna be empowered to know what to do and to create a roadmap and to create your own anxiety healing plan. But you're gonna have me, my team of experts, the Holistic Wellness Collective community where you can ask questions in our private Facebook group. You can get on the live Q&As so you can get education and clarity. And it's amazing. And it's my heart. And I created this because, girl, this is what I needed when I was at rock bottom in anxiety. And I had to go to medical school and see some of the best practitioners in the world and all sorts of healing modalities. I got a master's in clinical psychology. I studied EMDR and meditation and trauma and Ayurveda, so you don't have to. And so the Holistic Wellness Collective is my heart. It's something that I've been working on for a really long time. I created it for you, and it's open for you to join now. So what are you waiting for? Are you ready to be free from anxiety? Are you ready to take back your control? Are you ready to have deeper, more fulfilling relationships because you feel like yourself again? And are you ready to do it without having to spend tons of money on supplements and get all of the lab tests done, but rather to really zero in on why you feel the way you feel and to know exactly what to do about it? It's here. It's ready. It's waiting for you. You are so worthy of getting your life back. And come hang out with me. Come hang out with my team of experts. Come hang out with your other Wellness Collective members. Let's do this. Let's do this together. So click on the link in my bio and join today. I can't wait to see you inside.